All right, the big news today. Blake Griffin. He was one of the biggest stars of the past decade. I mean, this dude was a superstar, a high flyer. I think one of the greatest game dunkers ever. Won a dunk contest by jumping over a Kia. Part of Lob City that revitalized the LA Clippers with Chris Paul and DeAndre Jordan, and was traded to Detroit a few years ago. Had one nice season, and then injuries have derailed him to now he just ain't that good anymore. And he just got bought out by the Detroit Pistons. And now the big question is, where will he go? A lot of contenders looking at him. The Brooklyn Nets, the LA Lakers, the LA Clippers have been mentioned in a reunion there. Miami, Boston, Portland, Golden State. They've all been mentioned. And so we're waiting for what Blake Griffin's decision is. Now, reportedly, he gave up $13 million in his buyout. So, wow, that's a lot of money. I don't care how much you have. That's still a lot of money. And that's what it took to get him free. And so now he's going somewhere. Rob Parker, is this big? I mean, you think Blake Griffin can go somewhere and make a difference, be a difference, or, something like that, or not really big news?
Nah, I don't think it's that big. Just his name, not his ability anymore. I don't think he's a missing piece for any team that's vying for a chance at the championship. I don't know. I know there's a report out there that the Nets are the leading candidate to get him or whatever, but I don't know. Does he really make the Nets any better, I should say, especially offensively where they are? So, I mean, you should kick the tires and look at it whenever a player of his, name brand becomes available. I think that's just good. He's a tall guy as well, so maybe they look at him, in a different light, or coming off the bench for a few minutes, and maybe they can maximize him. But I don't think he's a difference maker for anybody who picks him up, and will be the reason that they win or lose as we go forward.
Yeah, he's 6'9", and if you're talking about the Nets, maybe he could be a backup center, kind of a small ball center. I mean, he's got some skills. I know his three-point shooting percentage has dropped the last couple years, but he's a decent three-point shooter. It seems like he could be. Not any athleticism left. Rob, check this out. Now, we know Blake Griffin, like I said, to me, one of the greatest game dunkers we've ever seen. He is the only player in the NBA today, Rob, who is 6'7" or taller and who has at least 150 shot attempts and not one dunk. Think about that. Blake Griffin does not have one dunk this year. And the only player in that category in the league. That shows you how far gone his athleticism is. Here's where I feel on Blake. If I'm Blake Griffin, I'm not looking at Miami. I'm not looking at Golden State. I'm not looking at Portland. I'm not looking at Boston. I'm not looking anywhere where they really need me to come in and make a big difference, because I can't make a big difference anymore. Now, he may not know that. He may not believe it. But Blake Griffin cannot go anywhere where you need him to ball and live up to your expectations. I think if he goes to Brooklyn or to the Lakers, even the Clippers, although I don't see a reunion. I just think the way it ended, I don't know that I can't see that happening. It's possible, but I don't see it happening. But the Lakers or the Nets, I could see Blake going there and, not a major impact. It's not going to become a big four in Brooklyn or a big three with the Lakers. But because they have so many other great players, in LA, you got two. In Brooklyn, you got three. And those guys will draw so much attention, and they're unselfish. Blake Griffin would get so many open buckets in Brooklyn that I think he could play well. And Rob, you know this, it's all about expectations. People raved about Dwight Howard last year. Oh my, he's rejuvenated. What a year by Dwight Howard. Oh my goodness. Man, Dwight Howard was a shell of himself. The difference was that the expectations were nil. These were the expectations for Dwight Howard last year. Come in, don't be a knucklehead, don't destroy the locker room, and play your role. Post up and play defense. 7 points, 6 points, 5 rebounds, whatever, that's fine. And that's what he did. And so people looked at it like he did what he was expected to do. It was great. And so as long as the expectations are low on one of these contenders, I think Blake Griffin can probably go there and fulfill them. But Miami, you need him to get out there and really play well. I don't think that's happening, Rob.
Yeah, I don't know what's left. I mean, I'm sure he wants to. He's only 32. He's not like super old. So maybe he feels like
injuries,
No, I know, but I'm just saying he's not like he's injured and 35 or something. He's 32 years old. And obviously, if you take a haircut for $13 million, you got to be feeling like, well, you would think that he would go to a team that has a chance to win a championship. If I'm going to pay for my championship ring, it's going to cost me $13 million. I might as well go to a team that at least could walk away with a ring, right? Otherwise, I'm not going to go somewhere and play for a bad team just so that I can star again or try to redo my career. So I don't think that's why he would take such a haircut. So I don't know. I don't know where he's at. I mean, it's unfortunate. He was used to be primetime, must see. He was fun to watch.
6-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA. I mean, those are big-time credentials.
And it hasn't been that for years. And, the Pistons made the same mistake that a lot of bad teams do. And, they get guys a day late, $1 short. They got, who's the other guy? The guard from the Bulls.
Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose. Why are you picking up? Look at who they picked up. And then you're asking me why the Pistons aren't any good? Right. You keep doing the same thing over and over.
To have Derrick Rose.
Right. Why you keep picking up, guys who are done because they got some name, but they're not going to help you win. And Blake Griffin at this point, I'm assuming he's going to sign with one of the 2 or 3 teams that have a shot at a championship, come off the bench, play a few minutes, and try to help a team win a championship.
Let me throw this out at you because you mentioned how great Blake Griffin was. And like I said, 6-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA. That's big time. Do you put him in the category of guys like Grant Hill and Penny Hardaway and even Derrick Rose, who were bona fide, clear-cut Hall of Famers and maybe even all-time greats before the injuries derailed their career? Do you put Blake Griffin in that category?
I don't know if I all the way in with that, but he was a star in the league. I think was he a star in the league? Yes. At one point with the Clippers, he was a star. People knew who he was, wanted to watch him play. He was exciting to play. The dunk thing with the Kia was kind of put him out in NBA America where people were looking for him, in the dunks and what he was able to do. So I would just say he was a star. I don't know if he was earmarked to go to the Hall of Fame or anything, but I think he was a star in the league. And obviously, injuries are the things that derailed his career, and he made him a shell of what he used to be. It's a shame because you would like to see guys get a chance to play healthy and see what they can do over a period of time. But we didn't get to see that with Blake Griffin.
Yeah, and look, in fairness, he did have a nice run. I mean, he had a good 8 years, 9 years of, top-level play. In fact, his first year in Detroit, or his second year in Detroit, his first healthy year in Detroit, Rob, he averaged 24.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, and was shooting 7 threes a game. Like, he was really playing a nice game. He led them to the playoffs and made the All-Star team. But then he's had 2 knee surgeries in the last couple years, and that's really what's taken everything away from him. But I don't put him in that class of those 3 players I mentioned. Now, he was certainly a great player. I think it's somewhat similar to Chris Webber. And Webber had a nice, fairly long career too. But then when he got injured, he had the knee injuries and came back, it just sapped him of a lot of his game, and he never was quite the same player. Blake Griffin, I don't think hit the heights that Chris Webber did. I mean, Rob, Sacramento with Chris Webber could have won a championship. We know that. It was some strange officiating against the LA Lakers of Shaq Kobe that kept Sacramento maybe from winning that series and probably winning the championship if they had gotten to the finals. So Webber, I think, was at a higher level than Blake, but I think it's similar to that. Derrick Rose, MVP. Blake was never that, or even in that discussion. Penny Hardaway was going to be one of the greatest point guards we've ever seen. Simple as he wasn't quite Magic, but he was a similar type player. And the injuries just took him out of it. And then Grant Hill. Grant Hill was one of those legitimate heir apparents to Michael Jordan. Wouldn't have been Mike, but was a guy that was just an outstanding all-around player and put up huge numbers in Detroit, even though he never won a playoff series with them. So I don't put Blake in that category either. But to your point, he was a great player, and it's unfortunate that injuries have derailed him. But we'll see where he goes next, and maybe he'll get some consolation by winning a championship. All right, we're going to throw it out to you guys. 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Do you still think Blake Griffin can help a team this season, a contender? And do you put him up there with the Grant Hills, Chris Webbers, Derrick Roses of the world who were headed for all-time greatness before injuries derailed their career? Blake Griffin, can he really help a contender this year, put a team over the top, win a championship? And is he a Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway, Derrick Rose, one of those guys that was destined for all-time greatness but derailed by injuries? Your turn to weigh in. Let's see what you got.
All right, AJ in Atlanta, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. How you doing?
I'm all right, man. How you guys doing tonight?
We are good, brother. How are you?
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. What's going on?
Oh, not much, man. How you guys doing?
We good. What's your point? What's your topic, your comment?
Yeah, man. Well, first thing, I don't think he was an all-time great or destined to be great before the injuries. I think he was a pretty decent player for his time. As far as the team I would like to see him on, probably a good three-pointing team like maybe Brooklyn or Utah, a team that won't ask him to step out at the three-point line. He's always been sort of like a 40% field goal percentage guy. So a team that's going to provide depth to that front court and have him bang inside a little bit.
Yeah, no, I like that. I actually agree with you on both of those. I mean, I'd call him more than a decent player. He was a legitimate all-star, one of the better players in the league during his prime, but he definitely wasn't an all-time great, Hall of Famer. I probably say no, but we'll see when that comes to terms. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Brooklyn's a good place for him because he wouldn't have to do much but pick up the scraps, and I think he could do that.
Sean in Sacramento, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What you got?
My uncle's from another mother, man. My brother's behind the boys. How y'all doing on a Friday?
We are great, man. What's up?
My guy.
How are you?
Man, hey, what up, Alex? So my take real quick, man, is I cannot believe you could fix your mouth to say Blake Griffin is anywhere near the kind of athlete and just raw player that Chris Webber was, man. I appreciate the shout-out, though, and you pointing out the bad officiating, but Blake Griffin, to me, is more like Richard Jefferson. Unless he has a great point guard.
Wait. And with all due respect to Richard Jefferson, no. Richard Jefferson was a really good player, but he was not on the level of Blake Griffin. And I don't think Blake was as good as Webber. But I'm saying similar type career in that Webber hit a stride for about 5 years where he was great and was higher than Blake because he was averaged 27 and 13 one year or something like that.
Yes.
And could have won a championship. So
but
Blake wasn't
was
quite that high, but close.
But Chris
Blake was a phenomenal athlete.
But Chris was a good player by himself. Blake is nothing without a great point guard.
Chris
What has he
didn't have
done since he
anything?
lost CP3?
Chris
What has
Chris
he
didn't
done?
have Mike Bibby, Peja Stojakovic, Vlade Divac. Am I misremembering? It was all Chris Webber? Oh, my bad.
It wasn't none. That's not what I'm saying, Chris. It wasn't all Chris Webber.
You just disrespected some good players.
But Chris Webber wasn't just catching lobs. That's all. I mean, Lob City was all that, man. You didn't see Blake Griffin improving his game. He still doesn't have a post-up game. He still has a shaky three-point shot. He has done nothing to develop, man. Without a great point guard, he's really nothing, man.
Well, he played pretty well in Detroit a couple years ago before the knee injuries took him down.
Tony.
24, 7, and 5. Yeah.
Tony in D.C., you're on the Odd
Sean
Couple,
with the
Fox Sports
attitude.
Radio. What's up?
Fellas, what's good? You know what
up,
it is.
man? Here you
Broussard
go.
Parker's
Here you
platoon
go.
is here.
Man, quick, enough with the salutations, man. Get to your point.
Hey, Broussard, two things here. I think Blake, he's one of the good players in the league scene, but he's either Barkley, Karl Malone, or even Chris Webber. Nah, he's below those guys. I think his best fit would be Brooklyn.
No.
I think his best fit would be Brooklyn because even if he goes to the Lakers, if LeBron goes to the bench, how's he going to get the ball, et cetera, et cetera? At least with Brooklyn, one of those guys always be on the floor, and he doesn't have to worry about being a primary scorer. And also, out of all those guys you name, I love Penny, but I really think Grant Hill was the one that had a real shot to be on the Mount Rushmore if he doesn't run into those injuries.
Well,
and
Mount
him and Tracy
Rushmore?
McGrady team up.
Mount Rushmore of what?
The Mount Rushmore of all time. I think Grant Hill.
There's
I
four.
think
There's
Grant
only
Hill-
four
hold
spots on
Chris.
Mount Rushmore.
I think Grant Hill.
My
I think
man.
Grant Hill and McGrady would have picked up in the East where Jordan and Pippen left off.
Look, I like Grant Hill. Mount Rushmore of basketball. No, remember, during Grant's prime when he won, he was great for 7 years. I think it was after he got hurt, was after his 7th year. He never won a playoff series. So he was great. Don't get me wrong. I think he would have been a Hall of Famer, like all-time phenomenal player, but stop it with the Mount Rushmore.